Hello everyone. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. I took yesterday off and just kind of did some relaxing and little TV binge watching, but I thought, I need to get back on here today and do some fun cards. So today I am doing some simple stamping. And what simple stamping is, you just have your inks, your stamps, and your paper. That's it. I mean, the only extra thing I added to this was adhesive. You can do it without adhesive if you use just a Whisper White card or a light colored card, but I want to have my card base be Night of Navy, so we definitely need to have a white piece on top of that. So I'm going to use the Broadway birthday stamp set because this is a fun one. Right now, every month, Stampin' Up! Puts out a simple stamping challenge for its demonstrators, and customers can do it too, that just to join in the fun and stamp something. Move that light because it's shining on that stamp set just a little bit too much. Maybe I'll just move the stamp set. How about that? We'll just move it over here, get it over on that side. All right, so the colors I want to use, I'm going to start with Balmy Blue, and I'm going to start right at the bottom of my card because I'm going to stamp up, which I know sounds kind of silly, but I'm using the Wish and Meka, so I want to use Wish first, and since it's the bigger of the two, I can line it up right on the bottom of the card, not directly in the center, a little to the left, but I just kind of want to line up the letters as close to the bottom as I possibly can. And we're going to start with our lightest color first, so that was Balmy Blue. Then we are going to go to Pacific Point. Oh shoot, not yet. We still got to stamp Make A, so it will say Make a Wish. So let me ink this up with the Balmy Blue. And I want to go over the W kind of to the left a little bit. That way I'm utilizing the whole card because we're going to put something on this side when we get done. So Balmy Blue, that was our first one. And then just obviously in between each one, we just got to quickly clean our stamps. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go super crazy because we're doing all blues and we're going lightest to darkest. So if I get a little bit of Balmy Blue on this Pacific Point stamp pad, it's not going to matter because that color is lighter. So now when I'm lining up my W this time, I'm going to use this, which when you flip it over, it's the left side of the W, the bottom, is going to be directly over that K. And now I'm going to stand so my voice may get just a little louder. I'll try not to talk too loud because we want to line that right up over that. And then again, we're going to do Meka at the top of that. Over to the left again. And we're almost touching the top of the W, but not quite. So you can see there's just a little bit of space in between. So next we're going to use Blueberry Bushel. So once these are cleaned, you just go back and start with your next. Line that up over the K again. This is the easiest way that I have found to stamp this without using my, oh my goodness, can't even think of the name of it right now. My mind just went blank. My Stamparatus, which we're going to use in a minute with the next card. So I just want you to know that you can do it with or without the Stamparatus. And it takes some practice. Like this is not just, you're just going to quickly rush and stamp this. You should practice it on a scratch piece of paper first just to see how it turns out and then go from there if you're doing it just like this without the Stamparatus. Line back up over that K. This is Night of Navy. Got a little bit close, but that's all right. It's not too bad. And then the next color we're going to use is just plain Memento Tuxedo Black. Just make sure you have it inked up good. That's a different type of pad, so you got to do a little more pushing on there to get that ink on the photopolymer stamp. Line up over the K again. And see, I didn't quite get it at the top, but that's all right. We can fill that in just a second, and I'm going to show you how. And there is just enough room to do this 5 times on this piece of paper, and this is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So once you get all of those stamped, like you can see where I didn't quite get that black filled in, just gonna grab my basic black Stampin' marker and just color those in, color those spots in that didn't quite get enough ink on them. Now, you could use your alcohol markers if you want to, but for me, this is just easier right now to grab this one and color it in. There's quite a few bare spots, so bear with me as I color them in. I think I need to refill my Memento after doing this. I really see that it's not quite inked up enough. All right, not too bad, pretty good. So the next thing I want to stamp on here is the little candle. I think the candle is adorable, and I'm going to do it in Blueberry Bushel, I think. So just stamp a little candle over here to the right. Doesn't have to be even with the bottom. That's not a big deal unless you want it to be. And since the candle is a little bit taller, I thought I would only do one. I had thought about doing one with each Make-A-Wish, but then they would just run over on top of each other. And I didn't want to deal, masking is not a simple stamping technique, so I figured we will just do one candle and be good. So the next step is some crushed curry for the flame on the candle, because we have to have a flame on it. And so they have this little diamond pattern. So what I did was I just took my diamond, as I'm knocking papers off over here, and just at the very edge of your pad, just ink the big one. And then just bring it over and put it at the top of your candle. It works out perfect. Once you have that done, all you have to do to finish your card is get your cardstock, fold it in half. I'm gonna move this stamp set out of the way. Give it a good crease, either your snail adhesive or Tombow glue, whichever you have. Adhere that to the front. Get a piece of Whisper White for the inside. And now I kind of, when I was thinking about making these cards, I thought, you know, I want to make some birthday cards that don't just say happy birthday. So that's why I thought of this stamp set with the Make-A-Wish, because it's perfect. Because we know we're talking about a birthday, but we don't actually say happy birthday on there. So there's our first card. Second card, we are going to use the Stamparatus for. If you haven't seen the Stamparatus, I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the Stamparatus. It is a stamping plate that has, you have measurements on there, you have a little pad that fits on there, and then you put your paper. So for the pad, I have, because it helps lift it up when you have your photopolymer stamp sets, there's this little foam pad that gives your photopolymer stamp sets a little bit of cushion on here, which is great. But I also have this little magnetic pad that I had bought. I think it was on, it's a good question. Where did I buy this from? Maybe Stampin' Storage, I think. It adds just a little bit more because I like the way it works with the Stamparatus, so I leave it on there. So I'm going to use the For the Love of Felt set. This is a stamp set that you can buy separately, but there is a kit that goes with it as well. It's toward the back of the catalog somewhere. And I want to use Let's Celebrate and I want to use this little flourish. But the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to set this on here for now because we're not ready for that part yet. You want to hold your paper down with a magnet. Now there are 2 magnets on this. They are both extremely strong. If you have them both out and they touch you and they come together and smack into each other, they can break. So I try to just use one if I can and not use a second one. If you need a second one, that's great. Just make sure they don't go close together. So what we're going to do is called hinge stamping. So with hinge stamping, we're going to put our stamp on here and then we're going to move it down. So the easiest way to show you how to do hinge stamping to make the pattern look great, you see how you have the dark spots where this is where the Stamparatus comes together. So for your first one, you want to line your stamp up with that. Now, whether it's off to the right, off to the left, in the middle, whatever you want. I'm going to go a little bit to the left, not all the way. And then you flip your plate over and you get your stamp. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to get a baby wipe, because that is one of the easiest ways to clean when you are using the Stamparatus. It's the easiest way to clean your stamp because you can just wipe it and then move on. Now you can pick up your chamois and do it, but I get a lot of ink on my fingers when I do that. So we're gonna do a couple of different colors. We're gonna kind of make this one a little bit rainbowy. So I wanna start with Poppy Parade. And all you're going to do is just flip your ink pad over and ink your stamp. Now try to keep it as straight as possible or you're gonna have ink all over your pad or your plate, which does happen, and it's not a huge deal if that happens. It's easy to wipe off. So don't fret if that happens, and then you just push your plate down. Now you have Let's Celebrate. Then clean your stamp. Leave it where it is, don't move your stamp. All you're going to do is lift this up and move it down 1 notch. So now we're going to do Gorgeous Grape. Same thing, just flip it over and ink it. And I don't know what I had ink on my finger and got it right on there. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go, people. We're going to do our Gorgeous Grape, and this is going to show you how well this technique works. We're going to do Gorgeous Grape and then we're going to go back and do Poppy Parade since I got red ink on that from my finger. All right, so Gorgeous Grape is done. Let's wipe that off. Let's move this back up to the top. I'm not going to touch that with my fingers because obviously I have ink on myself. Flip your Poppy Parade over. Ink it up, and then they are going to be in perfect alignment, which is what I love about this technique. Move it down. We got to move it down a couple because we already did our Gorgeous Grape section. We're going to go to Bermuda Bay, which I think is a gorgeous color, which is actually going to be the card base color for this card. Doesn't that look pretty? I love how that looks. Just get your ink off, move it down 1. We're gonna do Granny Apple Green. Isn't that pretty? Love it. If you haven't done this technique before or don't have a Stamparatus, you need one because it's fantastic to do these fun things with. And now our next one is going to fit right at the bottom. And I was thinking Mango Melody, just for, obviously we've got red, purple, blue, green, well, bluish with our Bermuda Bay. So ink it up with some Mango Melody. And there we have our Let's Celebrate. Perfect. Now I'm just going to take this plate right off. And here's the beauty of the Stamparatus. I can take this plate, slide it over here to use it, put this one over here. Now you can always stamp from this direction as well if you want to, but I'm just going to flip it this way. And then I'm going to add this fun little piece in here. Let's see, what color do we want to start with? If I do red, purple, Bermuda, Granny, we're not going to get any of the yellow. So let's see, do we want to go this way? We could go this way and then maybe just cut our paper down a little bit. You know what? No, let's just go this way. I want to keep that in here. So we're going to do our Poppy Parade first. Oops. I'm putting it on the wrong way. That's not going to help us at all. We'll do our Poppy Parade first. Let me make sure it is not covering the words. All right, we'll get Poppy Parade. Ink this up. Flip it. How fun is that? This is just one of the most, I love this technique. And I'm so glad I decided to show you all some simple stamping today. I mean, obviously Stamparatus or blocks are what you need to go with any simple stamping you're doing, because you have to have the stamps and the blocks to do the stamping to begin with. So now we're going to do the Gorgeous Grape. So pretty. And we will get some of that Mango Melody at the bottom. It just might not be, we won't have the two swooping. We might just have the first swoop that actually shows on the bottom, but we'll have the two loops that come up. All right, Bermuda Bay. Flip this around before I get ink on my fingers from this. All right, Granny Apple Green. I apologize, I can't see anyone's comments right now, so if you're commenting, I am missing it. But I think showing you the technique is more important right now. I can always answer questions later. Let me get the Mango Melody on here. Move that down one more. We'll put it on there. So had I moved the Let's Celebrate up just a little bit, it would have turned out a little closer to what I was really imagining, but it still looks fantastic like this, I think. So let's take our two plates. Now, the only thing you don't want to do is have two plates on here and try to close them at the same time. So you can close one, but then have one not attached and just lay it on top when you're storing it. And even better if you just don't attach either one of them. But anyway, that is a quick little Stamparatus lesson. I'm going to set this down out of the way as soon as I move one of my ink pads. And then we are just going to attach it to our card. I wanted to use the Bermuda Bay, so I just have a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock ready to go. Some snail adhesive. Again, this is where we messed up the first time and I stuck my finger in the ink and got it on the back of the card, so flipping it over is not a problem when you are using the Stamparatus. You can start over super easy. Piece of Whisper White for the inside, and we're done. Simple stamping sometimes can be super quick stamping. Now, the idea of doing the ombre card that we did at the beginning and also doing this. I've seen ombre cards and I've seen rainbow cards before, kind of like this. So sometimes coming up with simple stamping ideas, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't think of anything. But these are two of the most fun stamping techniques to do. So I totally love making these birthday cards like this. So I hope you enjoyed. Oh, I see Sophie's on. Hi, Sophie. She's in Belgium, so that's exciting that she's watching right now. So thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. I am going to be putting these on my blog today. It's going to be called, you know, same thing, Simple Stamping Birthday Cards. Then it will have all of the measurements for the cardstock, and I'll list all of the colors that we used and the stamp sets, all that good stuff. And then I'll put it on YouTube. So I hope you head over to my YouTube channel. It's called Stampin' with Valerie Smith. You can also go to stampinwithvalerie.com. That's my blog. You can click on my video. I'll have my video on there and it'll take you to YouTube, so you can subscribe if you'd like. I'd love it if you subscribe to my blog as well. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Everyone take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. Bye.